And one of the downsides to the escalation in sentencing, the penalties that, especially mandatory minimums, is that it allows prosecutors to say, we're going to put you away for 40 years and you're going to do that hard time if you don't sign this piece of paper. You might think you're innocent, but if the facts are kind of ambiguous and the prosecution can put together a pretty good story that makes you look really bad, and you're black, and you know that the jury is going to be almost 90% white, you don't want to roll the dice like that. And usually you have enough social knowledge because of what has happened to other people in your world that it's a pretty sketchy proposition. And often people, if they say, okay, we're going to give you 5 years, hard time, or it's 40 if you don't take the deal, they'll cave in and they'll do that, especially if they've been cooling their heels in prison for several months awaiting trial. And they can drag that process on a long time. They can put somebody who's never been by themselves, doesn't have much of a thought life, and you put them in a cell and let them just sort of vegetate for a few months. They get desperate. So there's all these pressures that impinge. And I had no idea that the criminal justice system works this way. It didn't used to. I mean, far more cases used to go to trial. It used to be like 25, 30% of criminal charges ended up in the courtroom. But when you're going for mass incarceration and you want to lock up 2.2 million people, or in the state of Texas, 150,000 folks, you don't have the judicial infrastructure to handle that many jury trials. And so they had to come up with this way of kind of greasing the wheels and making the system a lot more efficient from a prosecutorial perspective.